There we go. Creatives, community, kind folks out there, hello. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. This is the end of a series. As we travel down a deep path, delving into the characters from 1 week into Game of Thrones, the next week into characters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I thought it appropriate to end our little adventure into finding out what we could take from these characters in the intellectual properties into our tabletop RPG settings with Ned Stark, Eddard Stark, the individual, the actor, the character that ended the season, that started off this great journey for those of us that are fans of Game of Thrones. And unfortunately, a giant spoiler for those who are just getting into Game of Thrones after hearing about so much that's been going on. And of course, this is because Avengers Endgame and Game of Thrones, this is the ultimate, the wrapping up of the storylines, both. So they're both popular. So we figured, why not? Or rather, it's my channel. So I said, well, why don't we do it? But of course, the idea as well is that when many of us are stuck with our ideas, whether we want to be writers or creators, or whether we want to be small press publishers, or we just want to have some ideas to run for our games for those at our table or online, there's always something we could take from somewhere if you're stuck for an idea. So who is Ned Stark? Ned Stark Eddard is his full name. Who is he? What is he about? So while you do not need to know the character or even particularly like the character, there are some things we can take from this character and we kind of figure out, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to, what are we going to do with this character, and how are we going to use him? Sorry, I got an eyelash somewhere. All right, so Ned Stark, played by Sean Bean, is the prime male member of a house known as the Starks in the lonely and brutal area known up in the north at a castle known as Winterfell. As everyone says, comedians Key and Peele even referenced it in one of their stand-ups. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, Sean Bean, this is meta knowledge, but it kind of has to do with this character, okay? Sean Bean, the actor, for quite a chunk of his career, even till now, has been known, great actor, by the way, great actor, but he's kind of his own meme in the sense that you could get on YouTube and find out, like, he has died so many times in his own movies. It's unbelievable. And it's become a thing where you almost wonder if, like, Hollywood and the greater mass media knows that he's a guy who dies all the time. So believe you me, even if you're not familiar with The Gentleman, you know that I'll post, cool, no problem. Post it up in the Discord. By the way, guys, there is a Discord channel. If you're completely uninterested in me, but you want to talk to the people that are in the chat, please join the Discord. it's pretty fun. But yeah, he's died so many times. There are montages of people that have made videos of the plenty of Sean Bean deaths, in YouTube, on YouTube. So what does this have to do with Game of Thrones? Well, Sean Bean, great actor, is used as a promotional figure when Game of Thrones first started. Mr. Bean doesn't die. He just mimes comedy. No, not that Mr. Bean. Well, I guess I suppose taken to that extreme, it could be quite funny. But Sean Bean was used in the promotional materials when Game of Thrones first started. There with his big giant claymore sitting on the throne, made of swords and such. And it's crazy. As everyone says, Sean Bean said, if he died one more time, he can fill his punch card and get a free drink to drown his sorrows. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he makes fun of his own of himself. So he's sitting there in the promotional materials, and everyone's like, "Oh wow, he's the main character in his own series." So we end up following this character in the story up until the very last episode of the first season, and lo and behold, we all know what happens. Game of Thrones punched us in the stomach and was just like, "Yeah, give me his head," as Joffrey, or something to that effect, that Joffrey screams, and everyone, including his own enemies, are just like, "No!" And the mountain proceeds, or maybe it was Ilan Payne or whatever it is, proceeds to behead him. So why is that an important aspect? Well, before I tell you who Ned Stark is, Sean Bean kind of embraces the Ned Stark character as well, meaning that this is something that we can always learn from. When you put in your NPCs into a game, you build them up, you love them, you cherish them, you give them a background and a personality and a life of their own. You make this NPC someone that the other PCs are like, I'd like to play that character, maybe, or wow, this guy is interesting. They're my best friend. They're my mentor. They are, what the hell? Did he just get killed? Yep. Sometimes us as game masters, sometimes we cherish our darlings. And a Hollywood phrase is the opposite of that, which says kill your darlings, which basically means that the story, the endeavor you're trying to create, the experience you're trying to create, sometimes is far more important than holding on to that one thing that you don't want to see let go. And so sometimes our favorite NPC, our big bad that we love, our story that we want to keep, our setting, area that we want to love and cherish or whatever, sometimes we just need to destroy it just to set to set a new parameter to keep the players on their toes. And sometimes even, sometimes every story has to end for someone. And although you may have wanted to create this character because, boy, I really want to play, but I'm going to make an NPC that's really the character I really want to play, sometimes you just gotta, you gotta chop their head off, man, and kill him. So everyone says, what killed me most about Ned is they lied to him before they killed him. They sure did. They lied the hell out of him. It's like, oh no, you don't worry about it. Just admit that admit that you wanted to be the king and you wanted to take over, and we'll let you go, right? Ironically, Zev goes on to say, ironically, a Ned character is more useful dead than he is alive in D&D and in the show. Absolutely. So, okay, we need to summarize who Ned Stark is. So Ned Stark is the head of a household known as the Starks, and he is the patriarch, the head of the family. And this gentleman, from the beginning, you find out that he is very noble. And although he has some age on him, there is rumor that he's a great swordsman. He's a great swordsman. He is a noble character, and he was involved in the past in this war known as Robert's Rebellion. So he is summoned to Westeros, the main city, and he's summoned by his best friend Robert Baratheon. And so he gets to embrace his old friend from many, many years ago, and wonders what's happening. He's been summoned. He's been sent a message, summoned to the main city, and has to leave his family, leave the safety of his northern realm, and travel to this city of backstabbers and liars and the seat of power in this setting, in this world. So Robert Baratheon basically tells him, listen, dude, it's been a lot of years and I'm kind of aging, and, I'm not really the guy I used to be. And I know you look at me as like a frat bro because I'm out there whoring around and just getting drunk and eating a lot of food. And I've got a belly. My paunch is kind of big here and stuff. Yeah. Okay. So listen, I need you to be my hand. And as a matter of fact, and then he proceeds to, which is kind of weird. And this is a trope that's done in movies all the time. Hey, I've been injured and or sick and or dying. "Hey, my trusted friend, can you come into a private room with me where no one else can hear me? And I need to tell you something important that's going to change the course of society, but I need to speak to you privately so no one else knows exactly what we're talking about. Could you come here, please?" And so, yes, he's given a document that essentially passes on the title when Robert Baratheon dies. Now, I'm not going to give too many details about this because it has very much to do with Game of Thrones and all the machinations. But lo and behold, you find out that Ned Stark has in his hand the keys to who it is who will take over the throne. And he knows full well that the individual that's going to take over the throne isn't any good, and he knows that there's a better ruler for the throne, and he is the right hand man. He is the defender of the crown. He's been picked by Robert Baratheon, his best friend that he grew up with for years and years. What should happen? And so, of course, Robert Baratheon dies through his injuries and or poisoning, a little bit of both, and Ned Stark now in his hand, he has the tools that will pick the next king, the next ruler, and everyone is gunning for him. And his honor and his honesty does him in. So yeah, as everyone says, he's worm food. Done. Yeah, he is. Rickard says cheating in the duels, lying to loved ones, traitor to the crown, executioner, awful character, awful characters. Yeah. He Ned Stark walks into the hornet's nest. He walks into the rabid dogs that are Westeros, and everything that Ned is undone by his own honesty, as everybody cheats him. Right. Rickard says, cheated in the duels with where was it, with a fight in the street with Jaime, and his own soldiers like stabbed him in the leg, so he loses that way. He ends up, the Robert Baratheon lies to his wife, and the thing he has to admit that he's a traitor to the crown. It's crazy. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Yeah. Rickard says the funny thing is that Ned is all of those things in many ways. So one of the things we find out in the first season, and looking back through the course of history in this world, in this realm, is that all of the most honorable people in this world tend to, because of their honor, does something that the many of us would consider to be quite dishonorable in service to their honor. That there is no one way to both appease their honor and appease the people that they are loyal to. And so Ned, we find out, of course, Ned has an adopted child. Well, Ned has a child that's out of wedlock, and we find out, no, really, it's kind of an adopted child that he had to hide from his own friend, Robert Baratheon, in the first place, because Robert Baratheon was going to take that kid and dash that baby's head against a rock, right? Slit the kid's throat. And so he has to lie to his best friend about the identity of this character, and trying to hide him, and trying to save him till he turns of age, and send him to the wall so that he's away from any king's wrath, and especially Robert Baratheon and anyone else who knows of his noble blood. Yeah, that doesn't work. Then Ned is forced to lie to the public about his deception, which makes him a liar in a way that he did it, but then the people know that he's a liar because he admits that he lied and stuff. It's really weird, and I love it. Everybody loves it. So everyone says, I forget who, but someone said to Ned, nothing kills you faster in Westeros than being honest. I believe that was Littlefinger. I think Littlefinger was one of the most honest people to him about the fact that his honesty is going to get him killed. Yeah. Ned's honesty walking into Westeros, because Ned is the guy that we follow, right? Ned's the main character that we're like, oh, we're looking over his shoulder, like, this shouldn't be too bad. And everybody saw his weaknesses and just used it. Now, they were afraid of Robert Baratheon because Robert is a beast of a man, right? Like Robert will not hesitate to to pounce on someone, including the fact that he gave the order to, to kill any Targaryen that's around, because But that being said, like when Ned shows up, because of course Ned's like, Robert, hey, we were best friends, but I'm not really into you and what the hell you're doing. But you have created a stable kingdom. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I just want to go back home up north. Yeah. Rickard says he cheated in the Tower of Joy fight. I don't know if he cheated so much as, well, let me take that back. In the books, probably. In the show, it was more or less like circumstances would have found that he would have never won if him and his fellow soldiers hadn't cheated. Yeah. He's lied to his family regarding Jon, including the Jon. Yep. He rebelled against the Mad King. He sure did. And he executes criminals personally. Well, now that part of it, it was just kind of effed up. Like a soldier runs down from the wall to try to tell him about the oncoming threat of the White Walkers. And he's like, yeah, thanks for the information, but still got to cut your head off. That's kind of effed up too. So everyone says he asked him, "Are you being honest?" And his response was a smirk, deathly. Very well might have been Baelish. Yeah, I think it was Baelish that was the one, either Baelish or Varys that spoke to him personally and was like, "You need to leave. Like, I'm giving you one opportunity to get the hell out of here." So Ned Stark is this brutally honest individual, a knight of sorts, if not entitled, then in his ability. And oh man, boy, aren't you brutal? Rick said, still a cheat, liar, traitor, and executioner. He sure is. And again, that gray area, I love it. And so what can we learn from this Ned Stark character? How can we make this Ned Stark character? Well, as a PC, an NPC, an enemy, let's go through the whole series. So let's start with the PC, since we're starting from his point of view. Now, going off of what Rickard is saying, because he's absolutely right, and I think you're absolutely wrong. I love myself some Ned Stark. He's not a cheater and a liar and a traitor and an ex. Yeah, he is. All right. So what can we start from with a PC like this? Well, a lot of times when we're talking about this for tabletop games, we talk about like, what class would he be and what his abilities are. I don't think any of that matters. As long as you're a warrior type, it really doesn't matter what your capabilities are. But what I really love about the Ned Stark character is that though he's a cheat and a liar and a traitor and an executioner, from his own point of view, from his own internal morality, makes perfect sense that he's holding on to his honor. And I love a character that starts out that way. So I think that's a great starting point for a character, especially if you have this noble character, but you really want to insert this noble character into a world where there are, air quotes, evil individuals, where most people are liars, backstabbers, killers, murderers, and such. Ned Stark is a character who through his own rationality has been able to survive at least this long in this world, if not longer. Now, of course, most of this undone, all of these things start to basically pile up, and he's undone because he doesn't know how to survive in a pit full of rattlesnakes. But one-on-one, yeah, great character, a great story arc to start out with. Like, yeah, hey, I'm noble, I'm hiding away, I know a secret from the great king, right? Something like that. So everyone says, how many campaigns involve or start with the king is dead or the king was betrayed? Not very many. Usually the story starts out with, we've got to overthrow or assert the king or something. But to start out a campaign where you're like, you're basically in the bedroom of the king's dead, or you're in the throne room, you and the other player characters are by yourselves in the throne room of the king, and everyone's standing around like, what the hell just happened? and starting the adventure that way? Are they blamed for it? Do the characters step up and say it was my fault? Do the characters try to investigate what happened to clear their own name? Do they try to step into the king's place to establish some kind of law and order? Are there factions behind the scenes that are like, no, we'll take over as long as you put us in on the seat of power, and the PCs have to decide between the lesser of like 5 evils or something like that. I think that will be a great starting point, especially if the characters are completely in over their heads, right? They're first level characters, and one of you guys might be king or queen. What? You guys might be the head council that runs the world, right? This, not the world, but the entire kingdom, and they're just like, what? We're like first level. Nobody knows what your level is, but maybe you're in over your head, and maybe there are enemies that are looking in from the outside like, okay, all right, I see you stepped up to the throne. That's all right. I got you right in my sights. You know what I mean? Rickard says, I love the fact that all those things he has done, jokingly stated above, I hear you, yeah, is mostly done because of how noble and honorable he is. And I think out of all of the so-called honest and noble characters, the air quotes knights in this world, whether they have the title of knight or not, all of the honorable and noble characters are like undone by their honor and their nobility, right? And Ned kind of is the character that embraces all of that. Like literally, he is a liar and a cheat and a traitor and an executioner all in one season. Right. And then you find out even more information about this dude. That's kind of crazy. But the fact of the matter is, yeah. And in my estimation, like if someone were to make this character and like, well, I want to play a paladin that's done all of these things, I'd give him a slow clap. Like, great. I am not going to punish your character. I'm not going to force you to atone for what you've done. I'm not going to be a well actually at the table and try to undo your character that you've lost your paladin abilities. Everything that Ned Stark does, the lying, the cheating, the being the executioner, the being a traitor, and all that stuff is perfectly in line with his own center, his own moral code, his own oaths that he's taken to protect the crown and protect his family. I think it perfectly fits. So yeah, I would absolutely let it. So PC makes up that storyline. Hell yeah. Zevran says, hell, my Egyptian campaign setting, Osirios. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Osiris starts with the pharaoh dying from poison, not dead yet, unable to rule though. Okay, and his Asimar daughter has to take over and prepare for duplicity. Ooh, yeah, yeah. He said, Zevran says, maybe we have different experiences, DBJ, because I've seen countless stories where the king is dying or betrayed as we begin and the world order is shifted. You did. I have. Well, okay. I've seen plenty of those stories. I don't know how many have been done in a role-playing setting. So maybe I should clarify that. We've seen that storyline played out plenty of times. The movie Gladiator comes to mind as one of the first things with Russell Crowe, where it's like, Maximus, I need to talk to you in a private room where no one can hear us to tell you that I think that you should rule instead of my own son, Like, really? Sarah says, again, played it through it bunches. Really played it. So you're saying you've played that storyline through a number of times, or you're saying that you've played that type of storyline through? You can clarify in the chat. Rickard says, you definitely hit it with Ned being a paladin. Yeah, he sure is. I mean, he really is like the epitome of the do-good. I hate to say this, but lawful stupid. Lawful stupid played by an excellent actor, as opposed to lawful stupid played by a really annoying player right at the table. But yeah, Ned Stark is absolutely the lawful stupid. Zevran says, either ran it or played through it. Oh, okay. Both of them. Okay. And ran it more often. Really? That's awesome. I'm not taking that away from you. I played it. Let's see, I've done it once in Vampire of the king is dead and long live the king. Player character, side note, Vampire is where vampires control a city. I was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So we had it at the art museum, the Rocky steps, running up the steps, and Rocky, Eye of the Tiger. And that was Elysium, and the prince of the city died, and the player characters were standing around when he was killed and stuff. It was pretty cool. But that's the only time I've ever used it. I'm not allowed to play. Yeah, I know why. Because you're devious. That's why. It's your own fault. Your machinations, rubbing your hands together like that's why. Yeah, Ricker says, Ricker goes on to say, yeah, you definitely hit it with him being a paladin. Yes, he is. Low wisdom seems to be a theme for a lot of characters in Game of Thrones. Yeah, oh man, yeah. As everybody says, yeah, it was told I fit Toreador way too much that it's creepy. It's funny. But yeah, but Ricker, you're saying low wisdom seems to be a theme for a lot of characters. Definitely, if you want to play, I mean, if you really want to play like the lawful good, like I don't know what I'm doing kind of character, but you want to do it right, Ned Stark is a perfect example of that. I mean, even from what we gather from a young age, from going into the Tower of Joy and lying about the child that he ends up getting from his own sister, that ends up, basically being birthed as the king, to lying about, well, I got the child because I was on military campaigns and it's an illegitimate child. And I'm thinking in my head, like, wasn't there a better option than doing that and lying for like all those years to your wife who hated this child and hated you? Like, that's weird. I get it. I mean, in this Game of Thrones world, like I get why he did it, but part of me is like, really, dude? Like, wow, you couldn't have thought of something else. But oh well. Zev says, why is it in a game of political duplicity and courtly intrigue that can decide your life or alliances depending on what is said, everyone seems to lack common sense? Well, that, of course, has to do with power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? Sometimes people's common sense like shrivels and dies when they're given a little bit of power. Let me give you an example. The owner of in our own reality, the owner of a football league here in the United States, for us, decided to go, hey, I'm going to celebrate winning the Super Bowl by going to by going to a massage and getting a happy ending in a strip mall in Florida, right? Common sense. A lot of powerful people are undone by their own lack of common sense, and by their own hubris, because the people around them I think they're surrounded by a lot of yes people, like, yes, I'll do this for you. Yes. And they fail to realize they think they're the smartest person in the room, and they lose sight of the fact that they are not the smartest person in the room. So as everyone says, just look at this shit that's going on in our presidency with proof of that actuality, but let's not go into politics. Well, I don't care what political side you're on or what country you're from or where you're located. Political idiocy has been running rampant for many generations, not just this one and not just last week, right? So even local politics, right? Let's not even politics, man, just mass media. How many of our favorite mass media people, actors, sports people, personalities, influencers on the internet, musicians, actors, and all these individuals that are popular, how many of them have been undone by their own stupidity too, right? So there's no lack of stupidity amongst people who have influence. I just think I think the power is masturbatory, and I think they start to like wrap themselves in it a little bit too much. Deadman says, yeah, here we go, Deadman. Deadman says, I'd say it's more they lack the wisdom to allow the audience to figure things out. Look at you with a punch to the meta game there, right? Yeah. yeah, a lot of times, of course, as writers, it's very difficult for writing mysteries is very difficult because on one hand, you have to leave out enough clues that those of us as an audience figure it out, but not enough clues that the character themselves within that environment can't figure it out, right? It's pretty hard. Yeah, Zeb's like, yeah, so you're saying they lack common sense because of plot? Pretty much. Pretty much. Rickard says, I mean, Ned's low wisdom isn't to let the audience figure out stuff. He figures out things just fine. He is just stupid in how he uses the things he has figured out. You're absolutely correct, right? So it's not just being what a, we can go into let's go into Ned Stark's mental capabilities, right? Because we know Ned Stark's probably 99% paladin, if not fighter. I suppose you could claim ranger, but I'm sure 99% paladin if given a choice, or fighter. But if you go into his mental capabilities, kind of like Jon Snow, because Jon Snow is very much his father, right? Ned Stark. And yes, I know blood-wise he isn't, but he is very much Ned Stark in thought and action. And both of them lack their bottom three abilities, right? The intelligence, wisdom, charisma thing. So as the intelligence part, Rickard says 12, 8, 14, starting out 12 intelligence. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that one. With the intelligence, he's not brilliant, but he's a smart guy, right? He's smart enough to realize, like, okay, I know I'm not a liar, but I know I'm around people that are. And he's smart enough to be tactically intelligent. He's smart enough to know that it's not smart for him to leave Winterfell and go into this nest of vipers, but his wisdom is low enough to think that he could navigate it if given the opportunity. So yeah, he's educated. He can read and write. I'm pretty sure he can read and write. They don't go. He can read and write, but yeah, his low wisdom is like, hey, I figured something out, and then he decides to tell the information he has, essentially blackmail in the face. This is Cersei, right? Tell her in her face that I have this information, what that information is, and that if you don't back down, I'm going to tell other people. Like, whoa, dude, like you should have kept that to yourself, right? So yeah. So everyone says, I remember my last villain who killed the king had this interaction, quote, you killed the pharaoh. No, the poison killed Ramses. I murdered Ramses. Not smart. Not smart to say that, right? Yeah, he's supposed to sit back and go, oh, maybe he poisoned himself. Oops. Yeah, Rickard says he's not super intelligent. And if you go paladin, a 14 charisma is a bit low, but Ned isn't super charismatic either. Many of the Starks aren't very charismatic. Many of them are more, you find, are more deeds than thoughts. I mean, are more action and deeds rather than force of personality. Many of them, Zephyr says he was already in charge at that point, so shrug. Yeah. Pretty much everyone else was dead. So yeah, putting Ned in charge, and yes, getting to know him. Would you say he's got a little bit of a higher charisma? Sure, but when you put him next to other people, he's kind of a washed out gray individual, and I mean that in both a bad and a good way. In the books and in the show, there's nothing really that stands out about him. People say that he's a great swordsman, but he's never fought in the tourneys. He's won a lot of battles, but he doesn't brag about it. He's not a notoriously skilled orator, or he's not known to be very handsome. But you could say maybe he is kind of. Of course, he's not supposed to be fashionably dressed. He's probably very pragmatic about the way he acts and dresses. He doesn't say things to try to intimidate people or impress people. I don't believe he was a ladies' man. So, a lot of those, maybe he's just very lacking. He could have a higher charisma because people follow him and listen to him, but he might have a lack of skill. So he may be lacking in like persuasion and of course, deception, a zero deception, if not negative, no performance skill, intimidation skill, maybe a couple of points, maybe, but whatever. Yeah, Rickard says, no, I didn't kill the X. The fire killed it. I did murder X. How that's so stupid. Yeah. Sometimes people are stupid and put themselves in there. But see, Ned would never lie about that, right? If it was Ned's fault, he would admit it, So again, there goes that 8 wisdom. And what a great way to play a character. And it's like, everyone's like, oh, so when you go up levels, you're going to put some points into your wisdom. He's like, nope. I'm going to put some more points into probably my strength and keep on going along. Rickard says, nah, you said it with loads of snark. Yeah. So all right. So we have this character. We know he's a paladin. We know his perception of things is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So what are we going to do with this character? Like, where are we going to lead him? Now, Ned is a perfect character when combined with other people. By himself, he got eaten up, dude. He just got brutal. I mean, there's no way he was going to survive in Westeros at all. You put him next to other people. You put him next to other capable individuals. If he lived, and you put him next to Tyrion and Bronn and a Jaime and a Daenerys and a Jorah and Lady Mormont or any of these other very capable individuals in the world, I think he would have survived a long time because I think he had the intelligence to listen to some of these people, enough intelligence to know that he's not intelligent enough to do the things that they're doing. And so, yes, paladin, yes, leader, maybe, maybe an appropriately knowledgeable leader to listen to the people under him, that some things are smart and some things aren't, but definitely a best friend, definitely a partner, definitely an individual who's like, wherever you go, I go, and we can dominate this shit, right? So yeah, I think had he had at least one ally, he might have survived a little bit longer, at least long enough to be like, you know what, you're right, I need to go back home. And figure out a way for him to go back home without breaking his oaths and such. Ricker says, you say that, but he convinced the world that Jon Snow was his bastard, so his deception can't be that low. Hey, listen, that single point of inspiration he used it on that one deception roll. And any inspiration he got, he just doubled down on it. They're like, are you serious? Yeah, I'm going to use my inspiration for deception again. I'm probably going to have to use this for like 16 years. Game Master's like, okay, I guess you're not going to save any when you go into Westeros. Nope. Let me give me the dice. Let me get that advantage roll. Bam. So everyone says, I find it very dramatic to have the good king die. And I know air quotes, the good king die, and the hold falls to ruin, or a person usurps it and oppresses it, while saying that the one king was perfect or kept things running smoothly isn't realistic, right? But we're not historians. We're world builders, story makers and DMs. We see conflict, drama, and a satisfying resolution. Hell yeah, we do. Nobody usually claims bastards. So the fact he did repeatedly, people just shrugged and said, I guess. Yeah, and listen, what an easy lie, right? People want to assume the worst in individuals. When Ned said, "Hey, I came back from an expedition, and this is my bastard kid," more people were ready to believe that than to say, you know what? I don't think that's your bastard kid. I think you're hiding the next new king, right? Weighing the scales of belief, which one would people believe? Most people believe most people believe in others what they believe about themselves. And if they know that themselves, they would be liars and cheats and not have honor, they would believe that in someone else. So yeah, that lie is easy to believe because other people believe that lie because they do the exact same thing. There would be no question as to whether that kid would be the king. They would have used that plot point hella years ago, right? So yeah, they're liars. So of course they're going to believe other people are liars, and so they're going to believe he's a liar. So yeah, easy lie to get across. And I agree with you, Zev. The idea of the air quotes the good king dying. I mean, remember, everyone who has these theories about Game of Thrones, one of the things they fail to realize is to the victor go the spoils, right? Everyone who thinks hey, what's going on? Fantastic Dimensions. By the way, guys, like, share, subscribe to Fantastic Dimensions YouTube. Do it now. Leave this chat, leave this video, go there and subscribe. A ton of live plays. You need to go ahead and do that right now. What? No spoiler warning? Yeah, come on, God. Come on. Really? Do I need a spoiler warning? It's Sean Bean. It's like, as an actor, like he is like death incarnate. Come on. Think about it. But anyway, chat, Ricker says, well, think about it. If you only tell the truth, when you do lie, you are super deceptive because no one will even do a sense motive check. You make a point there. You do make a point. Like, if the first lie you tell is the lie that's going to change the kingdom, everyone's just like, nah, yeah, he's telling the truth, because why would he lie about it, right? But kind of weird that he lies about something that makes him look less than human in his honor, which is kind of weird, but it's cool. I love it. And by the way, thanks, Ian. Thanks, man. Fantastic Dimensions. Nah, do it later. Stick with DBJ for now. This guy's an RPG guru. Yeah, kind of an idiot. The fact that I live stream for an hour, like 5 days a week, crazy, but better than being addicted to coffee, I think. Yeah. So Ricker says, if you're super honest, you can get away with a lie when you choose to. Quite brilliant if you think about it. Which is true. Maybe that was the one time Ned Stark rolled a 20. He rolled double 20s on his advantage roll, and everyone at the table's jaw just dropped, like, well, I guess the new child king will never be found. Oh well. Maybe we'll come back to this adventure later on, 16 years from now or something. Oh man, come on, dude. So to sum it up, make an honest, honorable character, then cut his head off. I'm here all week, folks. Yeah. We're basically like stealing any RPG fuel we can from any of these characters, and Ned Stark is one of them. So says, hey, I'm addicted to caffeine. Yeah, I can tell. I'm just messing with you. So okay, so we made Ned Stark as a PC, right? Okay. So, and we know what he is as an NPC, but let's go a little deeper into Ned Stark, this type of character being an NPC. Let's go a little deeper. And one of the things I did start out from the beginning, from the top of the chat, was like Ned Stark is kind of his undoing. And sometimes it's really great to have an NPC that our PCs love, and we just kill them off. We pick an NPC that's stuck around for a long time, that the NPCs cherish, right? And then what do? We lead them into the lion's den. We get this character right in the perfect position that'll really pull at the heartstrings, and we just murder the character. We just take him down. And I think what we can learn from Ned Stark is, again, kill your darlings. If you make an NPC that's lived a long time, has a pivotal role in the game, that the other PCs love, like a mentor or a teacher or someone's father or someone's long lost brother or something like that, take that character and walk them into the fire. Whoa, what the shit. SEK. I don't know what value that is, but that looks like it's, dude. Did you just make a mistake? Because that does not sound right, dude, at all. So Swedish is divided by 10. I know it was over Swedish SEK. I don't know what that stands for though. Put in the chat the literal what is that denomination? Like, at what the SEK stands for, please, if you don't mind. But but thank you. First of all, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Completely unnecessary, man. I at all. It stands for the Swedish Kronor or Swedish crowns. Okay. All right, cool. See, dude, I learned something every day, man. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Sharing digital pizza is nice, but real pizza is better. You know what? I might celebrate with that since I get to see Endgame opens up this weekend here in the States. So, okay. All right. I'm going to take you up on it. Just because of that, I'm going to physically get real pizza, man. Thank you so much. Got distracted there into the chat as well. So yeah, I appreciate it, dude. Again, you're just part of the family, man. So doesn't matter how many miles away you are. Oh man, Fantastic Dimension says, how about the honest man who should have had the throne, but then got murdered and most of his family got killed afterwards? Ooh, I like that. Rickard says, so add to the pizza fund. Absolutely, of course, man, dude. Yeah, I love the idea. Sorry. Fantastic Dimensions continues. So he comes back as a revenant, but rather than righting the wrongs, he decides to take over the kingdom through force and run it the way he now feels it deserves to be run. Oh, that's a great idea. Let me go back up. Because that goes into what Zev said up here in the beginning. Says, how would Ned work as a villain? He die in the beginning? Goes on to say, unless you make him an undead wraith that tortures the land or a vampire lord. So I'm liking where you guys are going, right? Because here's the idea of, Ned. Well, first you set up the fact that this Ned Stark NP, like the bad guy, right? You set him up as this good individual that ends up getting murder killed in the seat of power, or this person should have been the king, should have been taking the crown, much like the concept of Robin Hood, where Robin Hood is trying to free the kingdom until Richard the Lionheart can come back and really rule. So of course the player character is like, nah, my character really doesn't want to be king or queen or whoever, but we sure want to defend the kingdom. And we have this NPC that's perfectly set up to go into the realm and be the lawful good person that's going to rule everything. And then, yeah, Fantastic says vampire, revenant, death knight, maybe. Hell yeah. Imagine this person being like just killed, and then maybe time goes by, weeks, months, years maybe, and the realm just falls into decay and disorder. And come to find out that this individual, Blackguard Stark, oh yeah. Oh man. Or wow, maybe even you could, if you don't kill him, he could have become king, and the other machinations, they end up killing his family off one by one through lies and deception, assassinations, and it just makes him this black-hearted, vicious individual that just wants to crush his enemies more and more as each family member gets killed off one by one. And that might have been the fault of the other houses. So that might be a way to do it as well. But I do love the idea of, hey, I'm an innocent guy. And then one by one, he gets backstabbed and comes back to torture everyone. And of course, all the poor little houses of the Little Fingers and the Cerseys and the Tywins and all that stuff are like, boo-hoo, I need help. Come PCs to help us. That would be hilarious. The PCs are like, sure, we'll help you. And why should we help you again? It's a friggin' banshee. Let him run rampant. F you, right? But maybe the PCs don't know that in the beginning. But everyone says, and maybe he's one of the PCs. Ooh, he's secretly now the rightful heir. Oh, maybe one of the PCs is the rightful heir. Oh, I like that. How come we don't add familial relationships sometimes into our worlds, right? Why can't you be the character, be the nephew or the son or the bastard kid of the king who should have been king? And the PC's like, oh, who, me? I was the rightful heir. I didn't know that. Why not? You could even add that in, you could retcon that in, as a matter of fact, if you really wanted to, in if you're slick about it. Fantastic Dimension says, in death, he has found that there is no justice in the world. Now he has nothing left but to unleash his pain on those who betrayed his family through either action or inaction. Everyone is guilty. Everyone must suffer. Ooh, guess who his lieutenants could be? His lieutenants could be each of his family members brought back to an unlife one by one. That would be sweet. The each of the Stark members of the family that were supposedly killed, from Caitlyn to Jon Snow and all those, that would be sweet as well. Oh man. Everyone says, why are familiar relations to the villains even rarer? You know what? I don't know. Ever since Luke, I am your father, you would think that people would like embrace that, but I don't know. I mean, why not be related to the evil lich that's taking over, or, you know, the council of ghosts that are terrorizing the land? I mean, undead dire wolves. I know you're being funny, but no, why not? Yeah. Ned Stark, Rickard says, Ned Stark is a great character to give information to players because they know he won't lie. So they won't go all paranoid and pick it apart. Maybe. But you know what? That's a great thing too, especially if this character is brutally honest, because we actually see him being brutal and we then realize he's honest. So maybe that is a thing. Maybe he's the NPC that's like, no, I'm not going to lie to the player characters. And he's been set up that way through reputation and action. Both in words and deeds. And then when he becomes the big bad, it's like, oh, yeah, like maybe the player characters don't want to kill him, but to save his soul. I know a lot of players would rather just kill their experience points than to redeem that individual. But yeah, and Headless Rob, Slit Throat Catelyn. Oh, I love that. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Hey, Headless Rob, maybe his body is his body's a zombie, but his head is what's that thing, that the head that flies around? A Vargoyle or something. Thanks, man. You like, hit that like button if you're reading this. So Zevron says, every one of his soldiers that die, they are raised as a specter or a zombie. Yeah, I am one, but we are many. You swore fealty to me in life. Swear it to me in death. Ooh. And then you get to, not every one of them needs to be the same undead. Like, you could go, is it the Mananangil? What the hell is that thing? Come on, guys. I know Dead Man knows it. He's looking it up right now. Fantastic says, no, I'm dead serious, no pun intended. No, yes, no, I'm dire, like, yeah, undead dire wolves. Hell yeah. Oh man, that's the Filipino vampire that is mostly just a detached torso. It leaves its lower half behind while it hunts. Oh, that's not what I'm referring to, but hell yeah. Vargoyles are the head only vampire. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you could have a ton of fun with this. His family was killed in the Red Wedding, and each of them were killed, they come back as a particular undead or series of undead. That would be sweet. That would be awesome. It is the hour mark. Babe. Avengers. Yeah, Avengers. Love you, babe. Love you. Hey, you too. So. Love you. Bye. As everyone says, the Chinese vampire hops because of rigor mortis. What I'm saying is combine all that stuff, man. Combine it all. Yeah. It says, yeah, I got that after typing, but had to keep on going. Yeah. I mean, why not? If Caitlyn Stark's throat was ripped open, she might be like a banshee that's like trying to, like, the whole time there's like blood coming down her chest and she's trying to hold on to it, and she can't speak, but when she does, when she finally gurgles out a sound, it's like a death, it's like a death cry or something. Maybe somebody got chopped in half and their lower half is like scrambling around while their upper half is like tackling people or something. I mean, hell, I made an undead person who's Their skin was a cloaker. Their muscular structure was a cloaker. Their skeletal structure was a skeleton. And their organs were was a giant python. But anyway, Ricker says, I definitely see evil Ned as someone who could be the right-hand man of the big bad. When fighting the PCs, he would let them rest up before and or heals them, so it would be a fair fight. Ooh. You don't really see too many honorable villains like I'm going to let you get back up so we can have a real fight. But I kind of like that. I like that a lot. Zephyr says, in Witcher, a woman asked for a sorcerer to help save her during an attack. She took a potion that made it look like she died, but was asleep. Meanwhile, rats were eating her and entering her wounds. Ooh, eating her organs, unable to scream. She then became a banshee surrounded by pestilence. See, I love that stuff, man. I love that. Who's this? Like, why not have zombies filled with like rats and disease and rot grubs and oozes and snakes and insect swarms and followed by like a swarm of vultures overhead or something? Like, you can really go fun with that. And what a great way to describe to people this this honorable man in this golden realm. And when the PCs get there, it's all turned on its head. Like, oh, this is the daughter of the Ned evil guy, and she used to be a great singer, but someone, cut her throat and she bled to death in front of him while he was held, and he screamed till his throat went raw. But now she's alive again, and he brought her back. And now even hearing one note of her songs will kill you, or something like that. That would be sweet. Fantastic says, also, though I seem to recall from the books, never watched the show, that Caitlyn never spoke after her resurrection. I think it would be badass to give her a pained, raspy voice. Hell yeah. Maybe she only speaks in whispers, so she has to get close to anyone and lean into them to talk. Yeah. Yes, the plague wraith. That was a creepy side quest. Yeah. Zev says you could easily borrow abilities like Cloak of Insects, Warlock invocations from Xanathars for a monster ability. Hell yeah. I mean, even though, okay, so we're flowing into, as we always do with these chats, we always get to like the last 10-15 minutes with our best ideas. I'm blaming you, Zev. And by the way, Ian, thanks. Fantastic Dimensions again. Like, share, subscribe to that channel as well. Been around for a long time. And let's not forget to join. Oh my God. The tabletop one-shot group as well, if you guys want to find some games to play in, that kind of thing. So no collusion, DPJ. Yeah. But listen what we're talking about here. We took Ned, literally like probably one of the most honorable, upstanding characters, who ends up getting his ass beat in all kinds of ways, yet we find out he was a liar and a cheater and an executioner. And now we've got ourselves a friggin' vampire revenant lord over an undead kingdom after his own children were killed. I mean, this is the things that we try to grab many times. Fantastic says it was archived 3 weeks ago, but we can talk about that another time. This isn't just a prime place, I'm sure. But you know what? Maybe we will talk about it. We could talk about that online. I mean, we could talk about that. Oh, dude, the OSG is gone. I'm sorry about that, dude. Well, I didn't know it was gone. I know there's something else. I know Frog is out there now. So yeah, but anyway, but yeah, we could definitely talk about it either privately or like we could do a video about it. Just in general, not trying to play blame and call things out, but yeah, definitely could do that. Anyway, long story short is that we can always find something. When we're stuck with an idea, we can take any intellectual property, again, shave off those serial numbers, reskin it, reflavor it, and just give it, chew on it for a little bit and go, oh man, how can I take this idea and twist it around? Especially, and my feeling is like what you guys are talking about with, taking all these really nasty undead things. Imagine if the players are so invested in saving this individual, in and knowing that this individual was like just and honorable and not a liar, and like helped the players out and was really on their side, and then you just took it and twisted the knife in. What a great way. Fantastic said, this was fun. Glad I got a chance to pop in while one was live. Yeah, dude. We do this Monday through Friday. There's a Discord channel with the other people in the chat. Every once in a while I'll pop into the Discord or pop some information in there, but that's what we do here. That's what this is all about. It's just basically free form, not exactly free form. I come up with the theme, and then these guys I don't write notes down. I basically make a thumbnail and go, let's see what happens, and then we just go for an hour, dude. So yeah, that's what we get in here. Zev says, it's interesting. We took a character loved for his honor and made him an intriguing villain. An honorable knight as a villain is great. The slow walk as he destroys the PCs but leaves them alive to get stronger and accept failure. Okay, let's start this as like a first level to 20th level thing, right? What if the villain, and he's brutal, he's evil, but he sees something in the PCs, right? He still has a glimmer. He still remembers who they were. Maybe he's allowing them to live so they get strong enough to take him down, because he still feels a twinge of guilt for being what he is in the first place. Like, this evil Ned is actually looking forward to the time when he is, because there's no one powerful enough to take him down. So he really wants the players to come take him out. Yeah, that's what it is. Fantastic Adventures says, 7 people watching live, only 2 likes. Come on, guys, give the man a thumbs up. It's fine, man. I don't do the please, share my channel stuff. I tend not to do that anyway. Zev says, you want music for a villainous night? Look up the theme of Nello Angelo from Devil May Cry. Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Fantastic Dimension says the best villain is a sympathetic villain. Vince, you're late. Yeah, sorry, dude. But yeah, we took Ned Stark to a really deep and dark place. Really deep and dark. So yeah, but again, we've hit the hour mark. Sorry, Vince, man, you're in there. Ricker says, I love an honorable evil. The PCs can like the evil. Best of henchmen, so they can hate the big bad. The honorable evil can even save bystanders to give them even more likability. I like that. Makes a lot of sense too. I like that a lot. Zev said, I made a Path of the Zealot barbarian whose goal was to die in combat so he could join the warrior afterlife. Ooh, I like that. Vince says, ooh, a new fate. Not exactly new. If you look up Fantastic Dimensions on YouTube, he's got his own channel. He's been around forever. So yeah, definitely. And you know who that is. You know exactly who that is, because you've been in played with him a number of times in the Rosehaven games. Shit, I can't remember. Yeah, a new challenger has arrived. yeah, he said, I mean here. Yeah, so anyway, Monday through Friday, dinner time, not whatever that time period is for you. I'm here. Next week we will be going back to our usual, which is like Monster Monday, Tips and Tricks Tuesday, World Building Wednesday, Third Pillar Thursdays, and Future Fridays. I know Dead Man's been hanging around, but he loves himself some Eclipse phase, as do I, and I miss the sci-fi. I know Vince misses a lot of the sci-fi crap in here too, so we're going to do that as well. So we're going to go back to our usual themes each day. That's it, man. Oh, you're sick. Sorry about that, dude. Man, Zev says, imagine Ned's magic sword being corrupted and being powered by souls. Of course it is. Of course it's powered by his enemies. He's got to chop heads, man. He's got to slit throats to get them back for what they did at the red wedding of his family and his daughter or whatever. You know what I mean? Vince says, I do miss it. That's, dude, I'll always be here. I don't feel any I don't feel burnout, right? Like some people, they jump heavy into YouTube and they can kind of get burnout with ideas and themes and things like that. I think I found my niche. So yeah, not that. So yeah, Black Razor. or not be a murder hobo with Black Razor. Yeah, I saw you use Black Razor in there. Yeah, like what is it? Stormbringer, Black Razors, the copy of that. White Plume Mountain, anybody? White Plume Mountain. So anyway, guys, here's my salutation. Please do not measure your loves by your hates. We've got enough of that in the world, and enough of that in the RPG community. So yeah, don't measure your loves by your hates. You may love the game you want, but don't claim that you love the game because you hate something else. So anyway, guys, I will see thee Monday morning. Vince, Miss, you currently doing an internship. Yeah, you're saying that. Every once in a while, jump in and let me know how it's going on, dude. How your internship's going on. So absolutely, guys. Vince, thank you for joining me, even if it is last minute. And thank you very much, Fantastic Dimensions, for joining in. Thanks, Ian, very much for popping in and sharing a ton of your insight and going down that dark path with Zev. So, guys, everyone, have a great one, and thank you very much. Everyone, have a great weekend as well. And I cannot forget Rickard for sending in that super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sending in 200 Swedish crowns. I don't know. That just sounds cool. American dollars are boring, but a Swedish crown, I love the shit out of that. So guys, have a great one. See ya.